I like to think about topics like this. It kind of sets my mind free. So that you feel something. You are in the first place. For example, if you're a writer watching this video, you are in the first place who should feel something. If you felt something, then there is a chance that reader will as well. But if you didn't, there's even lower chance, maybe no chance at all, that reader will. And that's where, when I got hit with that wave, when I realized that my writing is not only formulated, it's completely like almost lost, like what writing voice we are even talking about. Also, you can notice this, that usually the most sarcastic and funny characters have went through terrible things. It's not really occurrence because it takes effort. It doesn't just comes, peace doesn't just comes out of absence of problems. Hi, I'm once again sharing with my week. Once again, I can't call it a writing week because I can't say that I actually was fully in the process of writing. But as you can see, I was writing yesterday evening, once again in my diary. Yes, by hand, on paper, because I don't know, for some reason on computer it feels different. So I wonder if it would feel the same way, with that typing machine. It's at some point it's uncomfortable to write by hand, but on computer, I don't know whether it's green or something else, maybe distractions, but I don't know, it feels different when I write by hand. I don't know, I think I would recommend sometimes writing a few scenes by hand, because usually I don't. I mean, I used to write like 2 sentences when I wasn't home, and I would just write it in my diary so I don't forget, but to deliberately write in a notebook, I didn't. Never. So yes, that's something new I'm experiencing, and yes, I don't. I wrote this, like I said, yesterday evening, and this whole week I actually wasn't writing like at all. Also, no world building, nothing. So yes, it feels weird, but I can't say that I didn't do some things. It's just that I didn't do them physically. And like I said, my main lab is in my head. So yes, most of but it's for every person. So, well, I assume it's for every person. And I can't write everything down. So I risk keeping it in my head. So yes. What else? I said everything. So you already know I'm a music major, so I try to, I need to practice, and like I said, I played my exam, so we are taking new repertoire, and I wanted the Hungarian dance number 5. And yes, this week I was working on it because I desperately wanted to play it. I wanted to perform it at the end of the year, and I was, trying to make it come together, like rhythm, intonation, because there's a lot of double stops. If you are a musician, you probably know that's one of the hardest things in violin, maybe in other instruments, I don't know. And I still have piano exam coming, but if talking about violin, yes, that was a successful fail. I was practicing for a whole week, but my teacher didn't want to listen to it, simply because she was afraid and she didn't want to take responsibility for it. Like, she said that not everyone in this college, even at the end of the year, and at the end of the college, like on the last year, plays it. And I want to play it in the first year, and plus on that there was this inconvenient situation that happened with Hungarian dance on the competition. So yes, that also affected, and she didn't didn't want to listen even. So yes, I kind of wasted my whole week. Well, I can't say wasted. Wasted is a bit more dramatic because I still enjoyed practicing it. And I think that's a whole difference. Because this year was kind of dry. I didn't like the program I was playing. But when I was playing this week, this Hungarian dance, it felt like a new breath of fresh air. So yes, I'm just saying this so you just get that yes, that's what I was doing. And sometimes yes, I have to set writing to the second plan, which if you ask, I hate it, and I would want to uh, give more in give more of myself into this process. But as I said in my previous weekly recaps, I cannot force it. I neither that I can't. Of course, there's my cognitive functions are. I don't know. It just I can't sit and just plan everything out and just sit and write. Plus, yes, recently I had this thing. I can't call it burnout, but my loss of my writing voice was a bit sad. Honestly, if you ask me, well, because if I look at what I have written yesterday, I can see that I lose the formula. I'm finally a bit setting myself free in the terms of writing, like physical writing in sentences. It doesn't always start with "I will kill you." Sorry. That was a joke. So not really.
I don't say.
Yeah. So as I was actually very proud, like I was happy, I was in high spirits because I usually my sentence started with this simple formulated ways you can write an essay, I think. Like with despite or I hear or I do or in one moment, so as, and all of this kind of beginnings. And that what became like my every sentence when I was trying to write something. And that's where when I got hit with that wave, when I realized that my writing is not only formulated, it's completely like almost lost, like what writing voice we are even talking about, that I write on paper. And it works. It actually works for me. I don't know, you can try, but as I see, it actually works. And it's great. I've been thinking also about other things. Because like I said, majority of work I do in my head. I have two things to say. I discovered something as a writer, and I would like to start with, I think there are two things. So first thing it was like, I don't know, maybe like 8:30 a.m. No, yes, a.m. And so like early morning, and I was sitting on my lesson, music theory lesson, and while staring at my professor slash teacher, I realized something. So if you are, I don't know, usually, everyone makes fun of the, like, that characters suffer, that writers make almost every character suffer, that some say that it's not realistic, that uh, some characters can just simply breathe. I have been so I kind of think that you can't say that it's not realistic, okay? So first thing is that what I was thinking about, that all people suffer, okay? If we take every person has something to tell, some pain they surpassed or didn't surpass, and some stayed, some moved on. And if you take, it can be any person, I think. Any person can tell a story, and I think At least that's my opinion right now. So I've been thinking that I'm not glorifying pain either. I'm just saying that usually people who turned out great and people who, have this. Also, you can notice this, that usually the most sarcastic and funny characters have went through terrible things. Honestly, it's almost the same thing in real life. Well, at least that's my theory. And I've been thinking that people who decided because like I said, everyone has some pain, some sort of pain, but if, for example, they don't take something out of it, I will call it like this. Please don't nick every word. I mean it in best way. If you take characters who don't suffer some way and they don't show that there's some process of evolving with or through that pain, and they don't take something out of it, usually it's a dual characters. Like, it's that flawless characters no one likes, and usually for a reader to hate a character, that character also needs something to trigger that reader to trigger hate, because hate as well doesn't come from nothing. I mentioned in my previous weekly recap, I think, that anger comes from pain usually. So not even hate. There's just no one cares about this character then. I think that some same thing comes with people. It's just that when we read about certain characters, especially in first perspective, then when you're already in that person's head, you cannot ignore it. You read about it, you live with it. But every person lives with this. Everyone lives with themselves, and if you just, yes, in real life you can, you can walk outside and say, well, this one doesn't suffer, these look fine and these look fine, but that doesn't mean that we can, take other characters in book as well. If writer doesn't introduce that character more closely, we all can think that, oh, that character has everything together. That character feels completely fine. They're happy, they found peace. Of course, there are people who found peace and characters who found peace, but usually those are rare occurrences. It's not really occurrence because it takes effort. Peace doesn't just comes out of absence of problems. I was thinking that people who say it's not realistic that every character suffers, everyone suffers here. I think at some point everyone suffers. It's just what comes after and what you do with it. That's my opinion on what I have right now. I honestly even wrote it down. I didn't want to lose that thought. Actually, it's realistic. We just don't want to. We can't. I think we can't see it. Maybe we can, but I think it's hard to see it. If we are talking about real people whose head and personal life is closed for us, and so we think that everyone's fine. It's just us and that character. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, honestly, I've been thinking about it for a while, and I am still challenged by it. I don't think I came to the final verdict. So it's about necessary and unnecessary characters' death. So of course I already have some view who should die and who shouldn't. Who still isn't ready to die. So I've been thinking about it, and what I was thinking about is, because people like writing advices that if that death is just for death's sake, then don't do it. And if it won't summon that, for example, main characters, arc development, then you shouldn't do it. Well, first thing, I think I could question whether a person who actually wrote it knows how it feels to lose someone close in real life, okay? Because we all can use in if that were true, every story would be about glory, I don't know, character full of glory and just, I don't know, glorious. I mean, that probably would be myth already, some legends, glorifying myth and legends. Usually they are more mystical and a way. Well, as far as I know, of course, there are other myths, there are exceptions, but that would set away a bit from actual reality. So, of course, the other topic is about the character and whose that character was, and for who what was character for that main character. So it all kind of layers into the story. But as far as I see, every death affects. Period. You see, I think there's no rule for how you should write and when you should write characters' death. Because I've honestly been thinking about it. Because how do you know? And every death at some point does something to us. It affects one way or another. It doesn't have to be that straight. It can be, for example, it makes sense for your story. I guess it can be. I mean, I would understand it if, for example, a character's death, someone died, and that main character kind of gets this wave of and this need and motivation to revenge. It's a bit different thing. Of course, it then once again it layers to the story and what will be the final, what the final battle and what it will bring after will matter as well. But yes, what I just mentioned is kind of it's an often, like, it's something that occurs quite often, and but I don't think there's such thing as necessary death. Okay, that cannot be necessary. Well, at least if you think, okay, even if that, for example, someone old on the deathbed, I mean, you will still, even if that person is on their deathbed, you cannot say that, yes, that's time that they deserve to die. I mean, you can say it logically, but you will still feel emotionally, if you're attached to that person, that it's not fair, or that it could be other way around. But I feel it's a completely different thing when you take someone who's comparatively young, who still has some dreams, their own lives, their own love interests, uh, their own self, like all this thing that makes them separate, crucial part of this life, of this world, and they die, for example. They're, like I said, they're full of life, they're full of potential. They, of course, they had their struggles, but for example, it's even they had like some goal they wanted to achieve, and then that character dies, and you can't say that their death was necessary. They died, and you can't evaluate separate life straight to the main character. That's not how it works in real life. If that, for example, main character was caring about that person, they wouldn't link that. Of course, it's all linked to, at some point, to our own feelings toward that person, but I think there still should be that part that this character, like separate character, died. You cannot link it straight to the development, like to the character development, main character development. I don't know, maybe it will change, but for now I think that would be something I wouldn't do. Of course, it will affect characters around that character, but I can't say as well that you should that should be fun or something. But I think acknowledgement that death unnecessary. Because some deaths feel unnecessary. Because what do you mean? That person was like standing right in front of me. They had full potential. They had everything to be successful and happy in this life, and to achieve something they wanted, like their calling. Or they were like not necessarily all the best, because there's no such person, I think. at one moment they're dead. Like, you can't say that it was necessary. There's no such thing as necessary death. I think there's no such thing. I feel a bit different. Of course, once again, I can't say it because I myself haven't experienced death. Someone this close to me, like, I don't know, best friend, sibling, and other people. I just, maybe it's just my opinion at the moment because of my, I don't know how that feels, but if I'm just using, for example, my empathy, the kind of level I have, then that would be where I would write and put it. Like, I would put it like this. So yes, just if it's necessary, then kill that character. Unnecessary, don't kill that character. It will flatten your story. Of course, I think the thing that can flatten your story is not that unnecessary death. Some people die simply because of pneumonia, and or just because they passed the street, for example, like a normal pedestrian, and they got hit with a car that actually wasn't driving by rules. You can't say that there's such thing as necessary and unnecessary. Not every death should be dramatic. I don't know, sacrifice. That's sacrifice is a bit different thing. Just that, I mean, it feels, for me at the moment, it feels unrealistic, like really unrealistic. So I'm quite skeptical to all the writing tips because I feel they mainly target to shock the reader to someone like this. But I don't know. Once again, I'm returning to that point. If it's not real, if it's not relatable, then it won't summon any feelings. So I guess it's the thing to get as much closer to the truth as you can to make a reader feel something, to deliver your message once again, and not just to make your reader feel something. So that you feel something. You are in the first place. For example, if you're a writer watching this video, you are in the first place who should feel something. If you felt something, then there is a chance that reader will as well. But if you didn't, there's even lower chance, maybe no chance at all, that reader will. So yes, that's what I've been thinking about. I don't know, tell me your, I would like to listen what opinion you have on this, like character's death. Because once again, as I said, I haven't. It's good. I'm grateful that I haven't experienced this kind of loss. But I would really want to hear more perspectives about it because these writing tips feel on character deaths feel distant and for me just unrealistic. Maybe it's just my ignorance speaking, but if you have other opinion or you agree, then I would like to read your opinion, which you could write in comments. And yes, that would be great, and I think any comment, any opinion would help for me to see a bit more, because like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a final verdict on it. I've been thinking about it for a while, not this week only, just this week I just was thinking, like, generally I was thinking about that, not in a, like, more from an analytical or psychological side, as much as it's possible, and just that's why I decided to bring it up this week. But honestly, I have been thinking about it for a long time. Okay, it's not even 6 months. It's just now this week I've been really thinking about it. Just also, I'm not even close to writing characters' death, but I am thinking about certain things. I don't think there's such thing. I don't know, just in my story at least, I don't see this pattern as necessary death. I mean, of course my story starts at some point that some people died, and even then I can't say that it was necessary. Some people die in their bed sick, some people get betrayed, and how can betrayal be a necessary death? for example, if it was quiet betrayal or something like this. So I've been thinking about it. I don't know, at least that's my opinion for now, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a final verdict. I don't know what to think about it, but also it won't let me go. I like to think about topics like this. It kind of sets my mind free. Now I mostly read because, like I said, I have issue with writing, and I think the best way is to read. And of course, like I try different things as writing by hand, and mostly I'm now vividly hallucinating. I'm daydreaming, like I'm lost in that reverie, like in that world, in my world, and I'm trying to get like this fragile connection once again, this raw but fragile connection. Yes, it takes time, and if you ask me, I hate it, but it's necessary. It's better to wait a little than to make it completely fabricated. And the other thing is, of course, no one remembers writing voice. I guess as a reader, you don't really remember writing voice, but what you felt. So I guess writing voice should only help you to deliver the message, and not because just rushing for a writing voice, it's at some point it doesn't really make sense, but it is a powerful tool only to transfer your message or emotion. Because as a reader, I'm talking about myself, rarely do I remember writing voice. Even if I take remark, because I think I will always, without looking at the cover, I will always understand where is his writing, but it helps him to deliver that message, that emotion, and that's why I remember it. So just chasing writing voice just for the sake of writing voice feels wrong. So yes, maybe the issue is not really about writing voice. I have something to think about, and yes, that was my week. Not that productive if we take about writing, but it was definitely productive for me, as about, like I said, I was thinking about death, about realistic, unrealistic sufferings and other things. So I can't say that it wasn't completely productive, just physically wasn't productive. That's all, folks.